Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling excited? Well, these are all moods, and you're gonna practice them with a point of view lesson. Hello, everyone. I am Georgiana, founder of the podcast Speak English Now, and this is lesson number 55. I will see you in September, so if you miss me, don't worry. You can visit my website speakenglishpodcast.com and check the other episodes or my English courses. I will see you in September. Take care. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Speak English Now podcast with your host, Georgiana, the podcast that will help you to speak English fluently with no grammar and no textbooks.
In today's episode, I'll talk again about how to express moods in English, and you'll learn more expressions. Then, through a lesson of point of view story, let's practice the vocabulary. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank you for listening. I have also learned languages, and I can identify with you and your goals, so I want to help you. And do you know how you can help me? It would be awesome if you shared my podcast with your friends and family, or leaving a review on iTunes. Your help would mean a lot to me. Thanks. All right, let's get started. Let's continue with the moods and words we can use to express how we feel. In the previous episode of this podcast, we saw these words: sad, morose, desolate, devastated, happy, elated, exultant, thrilled, ecstatic, boring, entertaining, amusing, mad, angry, upset, annoyed, pissed off, nervous, anxious, and relaxed. Let's see some more examples. And don't worry if you don't learn them all. The goal is to get familiar with them. Okay, let's start with the easy stuff. A person may feel optimistic about something or even pessimistic. When you feel optimistic, you expect good things in the future. When you feel pessimistic, then you don't expect anything good. Remember, we're talking about moods here. That is, how we are or feel at any given time. If you say someone is optimistic, it means that their personality is mostly positive and they usually expect things to go well. Let's take a look at some examples. I'm feeling optimistic about work today. I'm sure I'll get a raise. My boss is always pessimistic. He never trusts that we can finish before the deadline. Or you can be in good spirits or cheerful. What do I mean by that? Well, that you have a good energy and you're in a good mood. It's a bit like happy, but in this case, it's a more profound feeling. A cheerful person is always proactive and a pleasure to be around. You can also use the opposite. A discouraged person, for example, has little energy, little desire to do things, and they are probably depressed. For example, after knowing the results of the surgery, Susie was in good spirits again. Johnny got cheerful after having a few drinks. I'm very discouraged. I find it impossible to learn Chinese. Jimmy got discouraged when he found out he couldn't stay in town any longer. Many times, we have the power to change others' moods. For example, we can raise people's spirits or encourage them. However, we can also do the opposite. Sometimes we discourage others. I prefer to think that I'm a person who inspires people. For example, "Here, have another beer. It'll cheer you up." It's great talking to you because you always lift my spirits. "Sorry, I didn't want to discourage you, but I thought you wanted to know the truth about your friend." By the way, have you noticed that when a person feels optimistic, it's because they believe that something good will happen in the future? For example, a good result? Therefore, an optimistic person is usually more cheerful than a pessimist. And sadly, pessimistic people are generally discouraged. And sometimes we can't avoid being worried. When we're worried, we're not relaxed at all because we're always thinking about what's bothering us. We can also be desperate or hopeless. Someone who is desperate has no hope. We use this word to indicate that the person could do extreme things. For example, "Jessie's desperate because she doesn't have any money. She's capable of robbing a bank." No matter how desperate you are, you just can't quit your job and leave. You have to keep going. Another mood is paranoid. Being paranoid means you think others are plotting against you. For example, "I'm afraid that Christine's paranoid. She's convinced that she's being followed down the street every day." Don't be paranoid. No one's going after you. When we're anticipating something, when we are waiting for something meaningful to happen, we become impatient. Example: Carlos is very anxious to know if he'll be able to go on holiday. Finally, let's look at words like deranged, unhinged, or nuts. A deranged person is a person who's absolutely unbalanced. Let's look at some examples to understand it better. Billy has been totally unhinged since he lost his job. Jack has gone nuts shortly after his wife dumped him. The man was so deranged, he threatened to burn the house down. By the way, you can make someone feel unbalanced by driving them nuts or getting them on their nerves. For example, "He gets on my nerves sometimes." Do you know what drives me nuts? When our son is smoking in front of me. All right. Today you'll learn some new words to describe our mood. Let's go over them again. Optimistic, pessimistic, encouraged, cheerful, in good spirits, discouraged, worried, desperate, hopeless, paranoid, impatient, unhinged, deranged, nuts. To drive someone nuts and to get someone on their nerves. Well, let's practice a little bit with a point of view story. These lessons are very useful for intuitive grammar practice. I'm going to tell you a little story using the new words that you learned in the first section. Then I'm going to tell you the same story again, but changing a grammar point of view. This way, you can see how the tenses change. Just listen and focus on the changes. All right, let's get started. Mark was very excited because he had met a girl, Megan. He liked this girl a lot and was very optimistic about the possibility of going out with her. However, Mark was very shy. He was worried because he didn't know what to say to Megan. Weeks passed and he still wasn't able to talk to her. He felt increasingly pessimistic about being able to achieve his goal. Desperate, he went straight to Megan's house to tell her how he felt. But in the street, he saw Megan talking cheerfully with another boy. They hugged each other. Mark became very paranoid. He was sure that Megan had a boyfriend and that he had lost her forever. A situation like this could make anyone unhinged. The next day, Mark saw Megan and yelled at her. "I saw you with your boyfriend yesterday." "Oh, but he's my brother," Megan answered. "Oh," exclaimed Mark. "Hey Mark, you want to come to the movies with me? There's a new movie and I'm impatient to watch it." "Oh, yeah, sure. At what time?" All right, let's change the point of view. Mark, you're very excited because you met this girl, Megan. You like this girl a lot, and you feel very optimistic about the possibility of going out with her. You're very shy though. You're worried because you don't know what to say to Megan. The weeks go by and you're not able to talk to her. You feel increasingly pessimistic about achieving your goal. Hopeless, you go straight to Megan's house to tell her how you feel. But in the street, you see Megan talking cheerfully to another boy. They hug each other. You get so paranoid. Are you sure Megan has a boyfriend and that you've lost her forever? A situation like this can make anyone unhinged. The next day, you see Megan and you yell at her. "I saw you with your boyfriend yesterday." "Yes, he's my boyfriend. We love each other a lot," Megan replies. "I knew it," you exclaim. "No, I'm just kidding. He's my cousin. By the way, do you want to have dinner with me tonight? I can't wait to go to a new restaurant where they serve the best steaks in town." "Oh, yes, of course. I'm a vegetarian, but of course we can go. At what time?" Perfect. This is the end of this point of view. I've changed the dialogue a bit to make it more entertaining. By the way, have you seen how tenses change? If you want to get hours of audio with mini stories and point of view stories, I recommend the Enchanted course. You can get it at enchantedcourse.com. Well, I guess that's enough for today. Just 2 more tips. Try to listen to this content several times and join the Speak English Now community at community.speakenglishpod.com. Well, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy today's episode? Get the transcript now at speakenglishpodcast.com. speakenglishpodcast.com.